Well, just got done about 30 minutes ago bringing the kids to school, and I'm making a coffee run for the wife. I happened to go by the mechanic. We dropped our car off last night, but previously we dropped it off to him 3 weeks prior to get an issue with it fixed. So we paid like $400 to get it out, and it was doing the same problem as before we brought it into them. So, I'm just wondering, either they didn't work on it and say they did, which is totally wrong, or they put something in it that it didn't need. They said it was like a computer module, because the problem that it was doing is the check engine light came on and it was like shimmying. And so hopefully we're going to get the car back. So I went by there this morning because my wife brought the car to them last night after work. And so I went to check this morning to see if it happened to be in the garage, and it wasn't. So I'm guessing they're working on other vehicles. So besides the point, the reason I'm making this video is the fact I've already mentioned it in other videos about, the apparent lost books of the Bible that were found under the Vatican. And for me personally, I'm curious to know what it could be, but I'm also reserved. I'm not going to say, we got lost books of the Bible, because I'm used to the information that we have currently. I don't know, the whole transmission process. I mean, if all these documents were under the Vatican, then what year did they gather them all up, is what I'm wondering. Because for so long we've been without them. I mean, I've heard through, different people through the 17 community that, the actual Bible that we had, stuff was taken out. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. And like I said, I am reserved about it because I'm used to the transmission process that we've had. We had so many documents, many fragments of portions of the scriptures that were translated into the books. We had the Dead Sea Scrolls that were found in the mid-40s, and it only verified what we had with minor corrections, minor differences, nothing that would change doctrine. And of course, in this video, I'm just purely speculating. I'm trying to wrap my head around when this could have possibly happened. I mean, did it happen in the Dark Ages? At what point did all this seem to change? I mean, when were portions of scripture taken out? They say by the deep state, whenever that began. I don't know. I didn't know that, deep state was at work at around the Dark Ages. So, I'm reserved about it. Don't tell me that the lost books of the Bible or the Gospel of Thomas or all these other, to me, heretical documents, that completely contradict what Jesus had said. Look under a rock and I am there. Split a wood and I am there. Give me a break. And they want there's a lot of people in the 17 community that don't know about this stuff, and they're willingly accepting of all these books without doing any research. And I'm not talking about, these criticisms of these books that were passed down from generation to generation, but I'm talking about like a fresh look at this stuff. I want proof. Excuse me. I want proof that, when it was taken out. Because all I know is that the whole transmission process, the whole dating of, the scriptures. I researched years ago about like how they were able to date such documents, and they did so by what they were called uncials or minuscules. If it were minuscules, it's one date. If it was uncials, it was another date. So that's how they were able to date when this stuff happened. But I just like to know when scripture was changed from what we had to what we have now. And they're saying that, the books that we currently have in the Bible have information that was taken out. I mean, like I said, don't try to tell me that Gospel of Thomas is part of the scriptures. No. Because it seems absolutely ridiculous. And you look at the infancy Gospel of Thomas, the little boy Jesus didn't walk in love. Somebody bumped into him and he says to the little boy, "May you never go this way again." And it said that the little boy fell down and died. Or it could have been a man or something, or a little boy, he was playing with, the waters or something on the ground, and a little boy messed it up, and he said the little boy dried up. Jesus would have never done anything like that, because he was totally in line with the Father, and it is my guess that he did so even at a young age. He knew who his Father was. And we know this is true because when he got to the age of 12, he said, "Did you not know that I had to be in my Father's house?" So I can see that Jesus never would have done anything like hurt his fellow man. It said that he went with his parents and he was obedient both to God and man. So, the scriptures that we have now, we can use that, knowing that there is no contradiction. God does not lie. He doesn't say one thing and then do another. So we use that, to base the truth out on scripture. But I'm just curious. I have like a couple of books of church history, and I wonder if it will state, around, when, possibly, the doctrine was changed. Because I know early in church history, the church continued on in the apostles' teaching. They were martyred, but somehow compromise happened, and they fell from their obedience to God and started behaving as the world. So maybe around that time is when scriptures were changed. And if those books were found under the Vatican, then it was possibly the leaders of the Catholic Church the real corrupt ones. I'm not saying all Catholics are corrupt. That's not what I'm saying at all. But there are some that are not devoted fully to God. So it could have been those people that took those scriptures out, and it was passed, on. I mean, who knows what would have happened in the translation process? We weren't there to see the documents being translated. We only received information. But how do we know that information isn't tainted? That's all I'm saying. Because for so long I was used to the fact that, scribes took, great care in translating the biblical documents. If they made a mistake in the transmission process of copying, they would burn the whole thing, because they were under the conviction that these were the biblical documents of God. This were the wording of God. They took great care in never saying the word God. And a lot of them do to this day. So I'm about to bring my wife's coffee to her if she's free. So I'll get back to you.